Pickaninnies, when they run off the stage, that's when you guys got to come down for, when you hear the shotgun blast and they start yelling and running around, that's when you come out. So just go ahead and do that now. All right, from the top, action.
Bamboozled, a lot of people say, is one of Spike's best films. They say, it's up there with Do the Right Thing, but they're not quite right. Bamboozled is Spike's best film. It's not a fun, interesting movie with some social issues. It's a very hard-hitting satire, satirical in the way that Do the Right Thing was not.
My name is Honeycutt. Can you help me out? Yeah. I can do this for a brother. Yeah. Let's let our two real coons know that...
No film since The Manchurian Candidate made me think so much. I think Bamboozled asks a lot of profound questions about who is white, who is black, who owns art, who owns culture.
Let's go, niggas! And then you do this. You got that? Yeah! Don't let it bother you.
If one were to look at He Got Game, Summer of Sam, and Bamboozled, one right after the other, I think some people would see something about who this man is and how much he's grown since he was a younger filmmaker, and also how he understands, how well he understands the prison of stereotypes. See, he's gone far beyond what he used to think. See, he understands that these things are prisons and that they can imprison anybody.
His name was Danville, and he was a writer, but he was a waiter first. He had to wait until he wrote, and the guy was just so full of contradictions. He says, I don't respect anyone. He's loud and arrogant. I don't respect any. There are only two writers living that I respect. One is, I don't know. And the other, like there's two living writers that he respects and didn't know either one of their names. Yes, the names escaped me right now, but they're brilliant.
And, then we looked at Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland, Eddie Cantor. It's really everywhere.
I remember when I was watching movies way back in the black and white movie days, and I'd see Stepin Fetchit and maybe Hattie McMahon and those people, and I would be there to see, you know, maybe Bob Hope or Clark Gable or something like that, or maybe Humphrey Bogart, and then the Stepin Fetchit character would come in, and with the rest of my friends, we would sort of like duck. It would be like a storm had come, you know, you're in this Edenic island, and all of a sudden this storm of black denigration would come across us, and then we just sort of like wait till that storm would be over. We would giggle, but we would be giggling out of self-anxiety.
Laugh, but at the same time, you don't want to laugh because it's not funny. And it's a very interesting phenomenon that happens with this film.
Look, there go the watermelons, right? Victor, are we gonna have something to cover this?
Cover where?
Like a curtain?
Yeah.
A curtain there?
Yeah.
All right.
I met Victor Kempster on the set of Nixon, Oliver Stone's movie. It was at the Hollywood racetrack. I've always loved his work, the stuff he did, JFK, all that stuff. And he does a great job with very limited money, but you cannot tell by the look of the film.
We made this big, awful sort of coon face, which became kind of the icon of the show, which we used in all the advertising and all that. And we had the idea of the mouth opening and all that. And I thought that would be the most vile racist possible image. But in a strange way, I felt that the original setup of the conventional southern landscape with the plantation home and the cotton field and the contrivance of it, I felt that somehow that was actually a more racist vignette than even the face. I'm like a sort of research freak, so I tend to just immediately look at everything, you know. So I looked through all the tapes I could get from shows of the 40s, 30s, 50s, you know. Certainly all the things that use the same kind of métiers and, you know, Cabin in the Skies and cartoons, a lot of animation. Spike sent me a lot of material to look at.
Let's just be the watermelon packs. This and this. Savion, here we go.
Well, I've always been a great fan of Mr. Glover. Had seen Bring the Noise many times and was racking my brain how I could work with him. What would the vehicle be? What would the role be? And of all the actors in this that we assembled for the cast, the only person I had in mind while I was writing the script was Savion.
When he starts the music, you gotta go up here and say, come on, pickaninnies.
My research came from, well, I first went to my pioneers who are, you know what I'm saying, the ones who are still here, Jimmy Slide, Buster Brown, Carl Gregory Hines, to ask them how they felt about blackface and for them to give me the okay.
All right, yo, hold. Cut. All right, from the top. And action. Double thumping, God-fearing, whoremonger, professional athletes. And then I taught these do the basketball move.
Okay.
Football run and do the Heisman thing.
Okay.
The Heisman.
Okay.
The football.
I'm tired.
And then do like the rap thing for the hip hop, all right? Yeah, like that.
Aren't you tired of all these basketball running, football running, hip hop, rap, Ebonics speaking? Who got 10 different kids by 10 different hoes? I know I am, and so is Sleeping Eve.
Oh, and you telling the truth. Please, Bama, don't hurt him.
I'll go to your windows and yell out, scream with all the lights.
Well, Tommy Davidson is another example of someone who's known mainly for their comedic roles. But he, again, just like Damon, turns in a very fine, dramatic performance.
Come on. Go to Genie Land.
I knew it was something that I wanted to do. When Spike came to me and he talked about the idea, I was really interested in seeing what was up. He got me the script. Once I saw the script, I said, yeah, this is something I want to do.
Years ago, I met a married widow who had a grown-up daughter. My daddy visited us often, fell in love with his stepdaughter, and married her. Thus, he became a son-in-law, and my stepdaughter became
These two guys, Womack and Man Ray, are just two guys who are homeless, two brothers trying to make it in the world.
I developed this sympathy. At first, I think I was intrigued, and then I was had this wonderment of after I did some research, I was like, boom, and then I went to sadness, I was had sympathy for these people, because when you really go and do a little work on it, a little research on it, that could have been me. It would have been me. It would have been us if we had been at that particular time. It's just sad, man. It's very sad for people to be forced to do something that's degrading to you and your people and humanity.
Initially, when I saw the images of Savion and Tommy and Thomas Bird in blackface, I didn't react really. I mean, all I could think about was the image good, was the sound good, was the performance good. It was not until we put the whole film together and we went to screen it over on Hudson Street and I saw the film unfold that when we got to the sequence where they did the actual show, Then I reacted. Then I said to myself, boy, it must have been difficult for these guys every morning when they were shooting these sequences to sit in front of a mirror and put on that blackface, to put on that burnt cork.
It was emotional. The first time I put it on was in a photo session that we did for the show. And it was emotional because what it did is it brought up feelings for me as a black person from where we came and how slow we had to stoop to survive. To survive. I mean, you know, putting on the blackface and all that stuff was just a way of eating, really. A way of getting your family fed or a way of being fed because, I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, we're already in blackface. We ain't got to get no blacker. You know, so it was just putting us down more. So it was really, I really just was in tune with the abusive aspect of it.
The first time I put it on it was just blank. I mean, I felt like I had no face. No face meaning no reality. Wasn't in tune. Wasn't me. I mean, the lips. It was just real country. Real country. It just felt seamless. It just felt bland. I felt like I was about to do just miming without any dialogue. You know what I mean? It was that kind of feeling.
Just give yourself an outline to work with. Go all the way around.
Doesn't she feel good?
Yes, she does.
Yes.
The reason why we put the audience in blackface is because the audience for us represented America. But everybody was given their own blackface kit. A Ziploc bag with your own do-it-yourself blackface. And then once you did it yourself, then you went to a station where you were approved, given your USDA stamp of nigger approval.
When we were doing the test for the blackface, I realized that the blackface has a particular feeling to it. And when you put blue light on it, it feels like cast iron. And I just felt, God, what a great metaphor for this particular feature in the film, is to, you know, put blue light on it so that it has the feeling of cast iron, so that people feel locked into this, into the blackface.
We chose video because this film deals with TV, and also we had to move very, very fast. Not have a big budget. I want to have the use of as many cameras as possible. So mini DV was the way to go.
Well, when Spike first called me up and said to me, you know, how do you think about shooting digital video? I laughed and I said, I don't. So he said, well, you know, I really want to do this movie. And we talked about it, and I said, well, you know, if you don't have the money and you want to do this film, then, you know, of course, you know, if it's the way to do it, then we'll do it.
Ellen Kuras, one of the great DPs working today, she brings art, you know, practicability, a sensibility. She brings a great look. And Ellen, I think, was one of her big pluses that she comes from a documentary background. So, you know, we can't do this, we can't do that. That stuff's not in her vocabulary.
Danny right here, everybody around him, and he said, come on.
He's the kind of person who can be very extemporaneous. And I like that. I can deal with that very well. And, you know, the camera can be very extemporaneous. And for me, that's exciting because it's all about discovery. Whereas for some other people, it may be daunting because they're used to doing, you know, a lot of rehearsals and trying to get it down. But for me, coming from the documentary world, I always enjoyed that element of it.
Hello, Bill? Down, Roger.
We didn't shoot with a Betacam. We didn't shoot with a Digibeta. We used the amateur cameras that people use in their families. We used the small little handy cams to make this feature film. And that, I think, is pretty revolutionary.
Roll sound.
Rolling, rolling.
Sound speed.
120, take one. A mark. A mark. C mark.
E mark. H mark. And J mark.
Spike is just like, he's got cameras everywhere.
Action.
One time we went up to H mark or something like that. that's like 11, 10 cameras. You know what I mean? That's bugging me out, cause like, you could be sitting down and there could be like a camera right here, you know what I mean? And it's like one of these little cameras like this big. You know what I mean?
I think the fact that we shot Bamboozled on tape really accelerated everything. We were on the go. So you could not lag behind, you know, we were moving fast, and everybody, you had to keep up pace or, you know, we ran you over because, you know, we were moving.
Right, pick up the bomb.
Sometimes the show, sometimes you have 15 cameras going.
Action!
And I think the actors loved it because, you know, you're not there sitting around, you know, you're working. Come and do what you gotta do and finish, in and out.
You're about to take a trip.
I love this process, working with 10 cameras at one time, not needing a lot of lighting. It allows you to really stay in the moment and not have to keep doing the scene, revisiting the scene over and over and over again. So it's very fresh and just right there.
It's just wonderful because you move so fast. And I'm a one or two take guy, especially when it comes to comedy. Either it's funny or it just ain't funny. I love, you know, one or two takes. And with 9 cameras, you got it covered from every angle. Cool, let's shoot it, let's go. And I'm gonna give you what you need.
The difference about shooting on video for me and for the actors, I think mostly is just the speed of everything goes so fast, which I'm enjoying, especially when there's big scenes, because there's cameras all over the place, so you don't have to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And also he'll have multiple cameras, so he'll get coverage of, you know, there was one scene was like the 5 of us, he was getting coverage of pretty much all of us all at once, so you could add.
Bamboozled, the first film we cut on tape. Everything else has been a 35mm flatbed Steenbeck.
Yeah, I do actually.
The greatest challenge in cutting Bamboozled was to stay on top of all the material that had been shot from all different cameras and feeling a tremendous amount of responsibility to make sure I looked at all that material, that I didn't miss anything. Because I felt like if I missed something, I might have missed a nice moment from another angle that would have helped the sequence.
Yeah, that scene with Michael Rappaport.
As an editor, I find working with Spike great.
Yeah, Jada, Damon, yeah.
Because as an editor, I was always taught that a director should give me the footage, leave me alone, and let me create. And that's what Spike does. I mean, he has input, you know, and he's very strong, but he doesn't sit over your shoulder. You know, he doesn't tell you where to make the cuts. You know, he leaves it to you to come up with ways to make the cuts, ways to transition out of sequences. As long as you're sort of sticking with the elements that he likes, that he saw in the dailies. You know, to me, he's a great editor's director.
It's great when you're able to work with collaborators. And when you work with people the caliber of Ellen Kuras, a Sam Pollard who cut the film, a Victor Kempster, production designer, Ruth Carter, who's done a lot of almost all my films as a costume designer, Terrence Blanchard, who did the score. It's a pleasure when you're able to collaborate with artists like that. Terrence Blanchard is one of the great film composers working today. And for this film, we wanted to do a different approach. As the film gets darker, we go into the full orchestral score. And this is the second time we went to London to record the score.
Spike is a man of few words, you know, and I respect that because it only says what he really feels. It's like you can talk about it and he'll listen, and if you have a valid point, he'll incorporate that. He'll go, that's a good note. If you come to him with some BS, he's gonna look at you and then go, Damon, no.
Spike is just cool, man. Spike is like, Spike just be chilling, you know what I mean? He's just real cool, man. I mean, he'll sit there, he'll listen to you. Yeah, that's cool, but we gonna do it this way, you know what I'm saying? But then, if there is something that, you know what I'm saying, that can work better, you know what I'm saying, he'll adjust.
Man, it's an experience. I'm loving it. I'm just watching his process, watching how he works, you know, as far as his technique. It's just an education.
Cool. Spike, and then we go into this part right here where we're saving, what is it? Oh, I say escort him out of the, he says escort him out of the building.
I say I'm not finished doing my dance yet?
Yeah.
But you're finished.
We're not doing that here. So, you're gonna carry him, drag him this way. You know, be a cut, and we'll do the rest of the stuff backstage.
Oh, okay. He has a very good ear for things that you're saying, and he'll say, we'll try this, and he'll give you little things to add, layer that, you know, the scenes and the dialogue with. And he's very much an actor's director. He lets the actors be free. You know, he's never like, you know, stand on the mark, say the line here, la, la, la. But he also is, it's not just a free-for-all.
47 years ago, they was kicking my ass.
Hey, listen to this. Listen up, listen to this. We're going to what? It's Savion.
Spike wants to do great things. You know, he's trying to create responsible work that has something to say other than just you know, a monkey shine thing. All that's, you know, having fun is fine, but we all kind of came from that background of wanting to do something for humanity, for people, and something rich and responsible and intelligent. You know, so I'm thrust into that kind of environment, man. I'm blessed. You know, I'm blessed.
All of Spike's movies are wake-up calls for people to know more, to read more, to look inside themselves more. And I think Spike is a universal humanist. I can't understand people who think he's anti-white or a black nationalist. I think there is a universal humanism in Spike the way there is in Scorsese or Spielberg or Capra or Kurosawa.
Spike is a number, you know? I mean, he is a non-stop guy. I've always wanted to work with him because I like his films and I like his point of view. And also, I don't see many than a handful of people who do their own films, their own ideas, and really are truly independent filmmakers, and he's one. I've had a really good time working with him, actually.
I don't know anybody who has gone as far as Spike has in terms of putting his confidence in the medium and saying, let's try something new. And that's one thing I really like about working with him, is that he's always pushing to do something different and interesting. He's an incredibly talented and creative filmmaker who always wants to try the limits and to step over that line.
What I get from Spike's angle is, who's wearing the blackface now? Which entertainers or which athletes or preachers, for all that matter, you know what I'm saying? Who's wearing the blackface now?
If I had to boil down Bamboozled into just one basic idea, I think that it would be real simple, you know. Stop tripping and let black people be black people and let them express themselves on a human level, and stop the bullshit. Let us express ourselves the way we need to express ourselves. Fully. Fully. You know, stop putting us in blackface. You know, you may not be doing that in a physical sense, but you are doing that in a sense when you pigeonhole us and you expect us to perform a certain way and to deliver a certain image of ourselves. When you don't allow us to deliver our own image of ourselves, then, you know, you're playing into the whole Bamboozled thing.
If I boiled Bamboozled down to a message, it would be, and haunt you.
We're basically taking responsibility for what we're doing. Okay, and usually we're always pointing the finger somewhere else, you know. And
Well, I do hope for this film, like a lot of other films, that it will, you know, initiate dialogue and also maybe a deeper, more probing look at the history of these images in the media, to therefore make us confront what we're doing today and where we're going to go.
Spike Lee's latest film, Bamboozled, is a satirical look at race in TV. Lee believes there are still remnants of the minstrel shows on today's TV. He believes that it's not only today's TV shows and movies that play into the stereotypes. Lee's next project is going to be about the Brown Bomber, boxing great Joe Louis.
Like most Spike Lee films, this one is highly controversial, has generated a lot of press, both in the print and at the premiere.
Look at the kind of movies Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence make. He's angry, Spike is mad. Spike Lee likes to shoot himself in the foot. I don't know why.
There's a difference between provoking discussion and interest and just doing it for plain controversy. To me, I see a distinct difference.
And for you, you're provoking discussion.
Exactly.
I think all of Spike's films provoke thought, and I emphasize both provoke and thought. And the first time I saw it, for the next week, I just was in a reverie, making me think about American history, American culture. So it gave me a tremendous awakening, reawakening about the history of American popular culture.
I thought the fact that it was so daring that it would take something as controversial as the old minstrel days of the two black coons, so for to take that material, which most people say, well, we're glad that's over and done with, and to go back and take a hard look at it and then remind people how close that really is to an awful lot of the seemingly more sophisticated TV comedies, but basically that's what they're really doing too.
Some people said, I didn't get the message. How could you not get the message? The message is right there in the title, Bamboozled. You have this character, Pierre Delacroix, who gets bamboozled into thinking that he can manipulate some stereotypes and get over in his job by using them. And he gets bamboozled because the thing boomerangs on him. But the other piece is that the black American public is bamboozled by accepting the kind of entertainment that is dished out to them, and in many cases applauding it. Just as in many ways, the American public is bamboozled by politicians, by mythmongers, by the media, which keep us locked into absurd positions that have nothing to do with our best interests.
I think Bamboozled is an important American film because it makes dehumanizing a group of people a moral decision, whether it's the person who comes up with the image or the person who decides to portray that is a moral decision. And it's a moral decision of extraordinary significance. And so I think that because it says those things, and those things are both racial and not racial, that they're at the center of the human problem of people dealing with other people and being recognized as individuals, I think if only for those things, it's very important.
Something that was very interesting for me in working with Spike on this is that I grew up watching these movies. I watched Shirley Temple movies. I loved Shirley Temple when I was a little girl. And the first movie that I remember seeing in a movie theater was Gone with the Wind. My mom took me to see it. It was her favorite movie, and I loved it. I loved it. And when I started working with Spike and I looked at it again from the point of view of what's going on in terms of the black actors and the black characters, it was devastating. I saw it suddenly as a whole other movie, and I can't look at movies in the same way anymore, having done this research, having worked on these films, having seen Bamboozled.